everybody, so we're back with another customer. Today we're doing a 1997 Jeep Wrangler fuel pump replacement. First thing you always want to do when you do a fuel pump replacement is you want to make sure that you always disconnect the negative from the battery. We're going to go ahead and take our 13 millimeter. We're going to come in here, remove the negative. We'll be right back. Okay, before we drop the fuel tank, I wanted to point out where the bolts are. You're gonna have one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there, and then you'll come underneath the Jeep and you will come up there and there, and then over to this side, right up in there. Those will be the 7 bolts that you need to break loose in order to start dropping the tank. Now it is a 1/2 inch socket, so when we get these all broken loose and we get our jack underneath it and everything, we'll be right back. So we have all 7 of the bolts broken loose, but not off. We have the jack up underneath it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this cap off of the gasket, off of the gas tank. And there's 4 bolts right in here if you want to come in a little closer. One here, 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 and here. This is what's holding the filler neck in place. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna undo all 4 of these, and we'll be right back. All right, so before we go dropping the tank fully, this electrical clip here is going to have a little piece like this, and it's going to be sitting right in that little slot. I took a small flathead and pulled it down a little bit, and then used a pair of needle nose pliers to gently pull it the rest of the way out. So we can go ahead and disconnect that now. And then as soon as we're done disconnecting that, we're going to come over here. As you can see, right where my finger is touching, there is a spot where you will come in and pinch like that, either with your fingers or with a pair of pliers gently. And that is a compression clip. And after you do that, this will separate. Once these 2 are separate, we can start lowering the tank. And then before we finish lowering it, we will be back to show you what happens next. Okay, so while I have it here, the tank is slightly lowered. It's actually empty, so I'm having a real easy job doing this. There is a gap where you can fit your head just in front of the rear differential or rear axle, where you can look up and you can get a nice clear view of this T-pipe right here. You want to slip this one off, and then after you slip this one off, you can finish lowering the tank the rest of the way. So once we slip this off the rest of the way, we'll be right back. Alright, so now the tank is dropped and exposed, so we can go ahead and get to the next part. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this ring right here, and we're going to break it loose after we come in and we clean all this debris out of the way. Because if we don't clean this out of the way, we're going to end up with a lot of contaminants in the gas tank itself. So as soon as we're done cleaning this, we're going to take our largest flathead screwdriver, or largest flathead, and we're going to come in here and we're going to take a small hammer and we're going to hit the back of the flathead, and it will start to work this loose. And then we'll be back after we get this loose and this cleaned up. All right, everybody, we have the ring off. We cleaned the area out the best we could. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to slip it off of those. We're going to set this out of the way for the moment. Now we're going to gently work this up. Here we go. There is the old fuel pump right there. All right, so now that we've got the fuel pump out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this old fuel pump. We're going to set it off to the side because this tank was completely empty. There's no fuel in it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get the new fuel pump out. We're going to go ahead and reinstall it and start putting everything back together. See you in just a minute. Just wanted to take a second before we put the fuel pump back in to say that you always want to check inside here. You want to make sure that if the fuel pump fell apart in any way, shape, or form, that there are no loose parts to the old fuel pump. You'll want to check the seal rings and stuff. Pretty sure they come with a new one, but always check these because if these are bad, it'll let you know if there's another issue. And then you'll want to come in here if it's empty, and you'll want to try and clean it out a little bit. If it's not empty, you'll want to try and get like a 5-gallon bucket or something to put the fuel in and then clean this out, because I mean, if you have it open, why not clean the debris out, make sure it stays good. So once we clean out the inside of this, we're going to go ahead and start the reinstall. Now that the fuel tank has been cleaned on the inside, we've already gone ahead and put the new seal ring in the hole. I just wanted to take a quick second to let everyone know that when you go to reinstall the fuel pump, you want to do it nice, slow, and easy, and watch the seal ring as you put it in to make sure it doesn't pinch and go down into it. Otherwise, you won't have a perfect seal. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and start reinstalling the new fuel pump. Be right back. So, we have the new fuel pump installed. We have the fuel line back on. And the wire itself comes with new clips that you can use to push into the holes over here. So now that this is all put back together, we're going to go ahead and lift it back up, bolt it back down. We'll see you guys back here in a minute when we're done. And that's it, everybody. Fuel pump's replaced. Customer's going to test it out tomorrow when they get some gas. As long as everything's good, it's all done. See you on the next episode.